Hello, welcome to Record Sports Hotline Live. My name is Daniel Coe. I'm delighted to be joined by the one and only Keith Jackson. Before we go on, Harry's already written in, Keith, saying, hope Mr. Jackson is feeling better today. Any news for Harry? No?
No, significantly worse, Harry. I'm hanging by a very thin thread, I have to tell you. But I'm sure we'll be able to get through it.
We're also joined by the one and only Michael Gannon. Mick, how are you?
I'm all right. I feel okay, thankfully. Thank God we're not in the same office as Keith.
Well, actually, our producer Daryl said that after the show last night, we better do this one remotely because he's got a couple of gigs coming up, and the last thing he needs is being in the same studio as me.
He did say that, eh?
I'm not saying anything, Keith, but we all care about you. So one of the boys said, better go and check his own milk bottles piling up beside your front door.
Well, listen, Mick, all I'm saying is Martin and he'll pick the right time to get out of town. If this is what's hitting us, oh my God, man, it's savage, brutal.
In more ways than one for Martin to get out of town this time. I think it's time to run perfectly as well. But I'm sure we'll get to that as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we're on, we've mentioned Celtic. We will talk a little bit later on about the Rangers game last night, particularly about Yusuf Chermiti, and we will look ahead to the World Cup draw as well. If you want to get involved in the conversation, please do so in the comment section. But as you mentioned, Celtic guys, Wilfried Nancy has finally arrived. He's finally entered the building. And he's been at Lennoxtown today, Mick.
Finally. I'm getting slightly concerned. Having said about 3 weeks ago it was a done deal, I'm sitting waiting for this to actually get done. Obviously, the bureaucrats have held it up slightly, and the negotiations for his compensation delayed things slightly. But finally, it's done, and he's in the building. Met with some of the people at Lennoxtown today. Obviously,
That's the one and only Michael Nicholson.
The lesser spotted Michael Nicholson was there to greet him with a big hug.
Wow!
Listen, it'll be interesting tomorrow when he gets put up to meet the media if Michael Nicholson will start sitting next to him. I don't see how you can just plant the guy in a seat on his own without saying this is our new manager, this is why we appointed him, etc. Is he going to face questions? It's going to be interesting because he's not faced any questions for a very, very long time. So that's the big question for tomorrow. Also Martin Hill get put in the interim charge. He appeared on his own. He just planted himself in front of with Sean Maloney.
That's right.
In front of the media. So I don't think you can do that with a new manager. I think you've got to have the CEO or chairman or both sitting either side and saying this is our guy and this is why we appointed him. Here's a vision for the next short, medium, long term. So this will be intriguing to see if this happens. Because these guys have not faced the media for I can't remember the last time. Perhaps when Brendan Rodgers was appointed.
Rodgers was unveiled, eh?
Yeah, that was it. But I think you'll find the chances are if Michael Nicholson has broken cover to be in front of the cameras to give Wilfried Nancy a big hug, getting out of the car and all that, what's the chances of him making an appearance 2 days in the trot, Mick?
Well,
I actually think there's more chance that he will just do exactly that and just on you go, Wilfried. PR guy will walk him in and that'll be that.
That would be the optics of that. I think look terrible. I know it's a kind of fraught time. I know there's a lot of tension between fans and board. This is an ideal chance. It's meant to be a happy occasion and a chance to kind of actually speak and address the Celtic nation, as it were. But I think you're right, Keith. I don't think it's going to happen. But it'll be interesting. I think it should happen. But
I think it should as well.
I think it's part of your job to do that. I think
exactly.
It's a front-facing position, as they say in kind of in market and business terms. So you have to face up and front up.
Is days like tomorrow not why he's paid $850,000 a year?
Well,
yeah. Well, listen, I think there's more chance that obviously the Celtic internal media team was all over Lennoxtown today. I think there's more chance that you'll find that Michael Nicholson will have sat down with one of these guys and done, an internal TV. So he's not really challenged. He gets to say what he wants to say. He then can say, well, I have fronted it up. I just don't know if he's shown no signs of wanting to front anything up and put himself in a hostile environment. So I'd be surprised if he... And Mick's right, this should be, a good news day. We've got a guy, we're delighted, this is the future. Take ownership of it, get in front of it and say, call for unity, whatever it is that you want to do. I might be entirely wrong, maybe he'll surprise us all, maybe he will turn up, but Nothing about his MO to date suggests that that's what he's got in mind, mate.
I don't think he should be thinking of it as a negative. I think it should be a positive for him. That's not. I can't say I know him that well, but having known him, I've spoken to him a good few times, even personally. He's a decent guy. He means the best for Celtic all the time. I know that it's a bit of a bad rap from the fans, and he actually can do it. He's done it at AGMs and he's done it before. He's a smart guy. Doesn't like being in the spotlight, but he can't really avoid it in that role.
As the CEO,
I think it's a big chance for him to be get out front, be proactive. Listen, if you need to hold your hands up and say, listen, and try and mend fences, this is a great chance to do that. I think if it was myself advising him, I would be saying, go and tackle this. It might get some awkward questions. Listen, those guys will ask some awkward questions, but you're a smart guy, you can answer them.
Yeah.
And he's what he is. I think he's a pretty genuine guy, Michael Nicholson. I think he'll be as honest as he could be in that situation. I think it's a chance for him to actually and I think one of the things that this the famous Ross Desmond right, he said that accused some section of fans of dehumanising the board members. And by the way, I kind of get that these effigies and all that and banners, they do take away the human element. These guys are human beings. They live in the city, a lot of them. So it is dehumanising, but you need to be a human being to be dehumanised. So people don't know what Michael Nicholson is and what he stands for, what he's like, his personality. This is a wee chance for him to go and show what he's about. I think it should be grasped rather than hidden from. But again, I suspect you're right, Keith. I suspect it will be. He might sit down and say, "Here's a new manager. We think he's a great guy, #1 candidate. We're going to support him in January, but I'm not going to be taking any questions. So all about him today. I'm off," and he'll dodge. I suspect that's what might happen. But if he does that, it's an opportunity lost. This is the big chance for the olive branch. This is the first steps towards some sort of reconciliation. Yeah, I think we should go and grasp it.
Yeah, I agree, mate, but I'll be surprised.
Yes.
Completely agree as well. When it comes to matters on the pitch, we've got comments coming in already. And again, if you want to get involved, please do so. Derek says, from Rangers' perspective, I'm hoping Nancy is the Russell Martin moment. Will says, though, I also think cup final in a week, pole position in the league, the 94 bet for a treble under Nancy wouldn't be the worst bet ever, assuming there is a sizable transfer budget in January. I think this is one of the most intriguing managerial appointments, and as long as I can remember it, I really have got no idea how this is going to go, Keith.
But that's it. That's what makes it so intriguing. It's impossible to know with any certainty. You've got a guy that's got a very good reputation from what he's done in the States. He's got set ideas about what he wants from his football team. There's an element of out the box thinking. There's a lot of things to be excited about. But the flip side of that coin is there's a lot of imponderables. There's a lot of things that we just don't know yet. And I keep going back to it, Daniel. The biggest of all those factors is, how does he adapt to life in Glasgow? This isn't like other places. It's just not. Some people flourish in it, and some people wilt in it. I've seen guys come in here with great coaching CVs and their head has blown up. Just because the intensity, the pressure, the strain, the reaction to bad results, it's not like any other place, simply because the scale of the overreaction to a setback. In Columbus Crew, yep, you can draw a game. It's not the end of the world. They'll still have a picnic in the car park afterwards and a couple of Budweisers. Nobody's all that bothered about it. This is a different environment. And unfortunately for him a little bit, because Martin O'Neill has done such an incredible job in the interim period, he's got a high bar set for him already. So he's going to have to come in and convince people from the get-go that this isn't a mistake, a retrograde step, that they shouldn't have kept hold of Martin O'Neill. As I said previously, Dan, if Martin O'Neill had been winning one, losing one, drawing one, winning one, then it's a little bit easier for Wilfried Nancy to step in at that point. But the fact that Martin O'Neill just went in there and churned out win after win after win, and because for one simple reason for me, well, one, he's a really clever, experienced guy, but he totally gets the football club. He totally understands the demands of Celtic and the demands of the city. And people coming into this environment for the first time can sometimes be shocked by it. So that's going to be interesting. What I would say is, he looked like a cool big guy, didn't he? Coming out, he carries himself quite well. He looks as if he's got a little bit of swagger, and you'll need that in this place. So that's interesting. But I remember when Rangers appointed Philippe Clement, and I was thinking, I'm not sure you're cut out for this. And there's been various other examples down the years of guys that have come in, Ronnie Dial at Celtic, Pedro Caixinha, and you just kind of take an early look at them and you think, you've just walked into the wrong movie, pal. I'm not saying that that's going to be the case with Wilfried Nancy. What I'm saying is that he's going to have to prove very quickly to bring the fans with him that he's not a downgrade on the 73-year-old guy that's just left the interim position. And that adds that little bit more pressure. Now, two sides of that coin. You take on Hearts on Sunday, you beat Hearts, you go top of the league on points with a game in hand. You then go get good, strong performance and result against Roma, and then you go and pick up the first domestic trophy of the season, all in your first week. And if you do that, then you're off to an absolute flyer. So, but again, it's the imponderables, the undeterminables. We'll actually just need to sit back now, grab the popcorn, and see what Wilfried Nancy's Celtic look like.
Yeah, the one. You're right. I agree with you. The only thing, the two things is experience and environment. And you're right. The environment is a whole. This is no Kansas anymore. This is a whole new ballgame. Yeah. That'll maybe even shock him a wee bit. Experience. Look at the last guys in the Celtic dugout. Brendan Rodgers, 812 games as a manager, all at the top level. Martin O'Neill, 975 games, 25 short of 1,000 games, mostly at the top level. Anis Postecoglou, 790 games internationally or in the world. Wilfried Nancy, 212. So he's not got that body of experience that these guys have had. So that's against him, and the environment is going to be a bit of a culture shock. What I would say is that speaking to everyone I spoke to who's in America, who's with him and under him, say that he's phenomenal. This guy is going places, and that Celtic have jumped in at a time before someone else does. He's going to go. He's a star on the rise in the coaching side of things. If he can handle the environment, gets a grip of it early on. And by the way, given what I've heard about his personality, he's not coming in blind. He's been told by people around him who know Celtic. He's not coming in completely blind to this. He's embraced it. He wants it. He sees this as his big break. So I think it's quite exciting appointment for Celtic, and it's not your kind of usual kind of championship level manager and all that stuff. I think it's quite an exciting appointment. Bold, yes. Gamble, yes, but quite exciting. I also think there's going to need to be a bit of patience with it as well with Celtic. I think Celtic fans are going to need to do is chill out a wee bit. They're going to need to chill out. And I actually saw it, and that penny kind of dropped in the other night, a game against Dundee, and it's like people were freaking out the last 10 minutes. Dundee crossed the halfway line, and folk are losing their marbles, right? They're like, blah, 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 they're literally nerves and like are going to pieces, right? And
that was just Ryan McDonald.
But you're thinking, you guys are going to need to start holding your shape a bit. It's December, right? And people, listen, I'm guilty of myself. Last week I was going, this is a monumental week to start a job and all that stuff. Take a backward step. It's December. Celtic are joint top of the league with a game in hand. Sunday isn't even must win for Celtic. Not must win. Celtic have been dreadful this season and are joint top of the league with a game in hand. They can afford to get beat. They can afford. Listen, in the next few weeks, the fixture list is ridiculous, right? Celtic are going to drop points. Hearts are going to drop points. Rangers are definitely going to drop points. Everybody's just got to chill out a bit. Let the guy find his feet. The one game they have to win is the cup final. The rest of it, Roma is a bonus game anyway. So the cup final is the be-all and end-all this week for Celtic. The rest, fans are going to need to just chill out a bit and breathe, because they can't keep doing this. This last 10 minutes against Dundee in December. It's no April. You know what I mean? Just need to take a step back, guys, and just breathe. Because
and what do you think the chances are of that happening, Mick?
By the way,
your years of experience.
Zero.
Right.
This is by the way, Celtic fans booed Santa at Christmas 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We're going to need to chill out. But right, same at Ibrox as well. By the way, Hearts fans are booing the team at the final whistle last night.
That's
Everybody
mad.
just breathe, please. Just calm down. It's December. It's been a good fun start.
The really interesting bit for me is, Mick, Danny Rowe has got a head start on Nancy, and he's been in for, what is it now, 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever it's been.
They're trying to chase him already.
Yeah. But my point being, he's a really inexperienced guy. That was a massive gamble. He had nothing on his CV to warrant the position. You could argue, if you're, in fact, you very strong argument to say that Wilfried Nancy is far better qualified, and he's got 3 years more experience. Danny Rowe, 1 full season at Sheffield Wednesday, a 12th place finish in the Championship in England. On what basis did that qualify him for that job? So you've got a guy at Rangers that, without meaning to be insulting towards him, is wet behind the ears in managerial terms. And now you've got a guy coming at Celtic, a little bit more experience under his belt, but it's been in the States. So it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how these guys deal with it.
Yeah.
Because then of course you've got Derek McInnes sitting there, the wise old owl, who's been over the course. Listen, this has been a really bad run for Hearts, and he'll be absolutely kicking himself because he wouldn't have seen that coming. But he'll know that he can recalibrate the whole thing if he goes to Celtic Park and wins against a manager who's in the dugout at Celtic Park for the first ever time. So, listen, there's so many really interesting things to judge and monitor over the next, certainly over the next week or so. I think it's going to be absolutely compelling.
Yeah, it is. I just think there's going to be. This is not the kind of season when a team's going to get 100 points and win 25 games in the bounce. It's going to be a bit topsy-turvy. It's going to be about who can string the 5 and 6 wins together at a time before the bump, rather than the 1 or 2 wins in a bump.
Yeah.
As I say, I don't think Rangers are capable of doing that. I think they get 3-4 wins in a bump, then they'll hit the road again. The way they look until they get January. And also, in terms of Celtic, this is a pretty weak Celtic squad. I think Martin Neil worked miracles getting the results he did.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, he was flying by the seat of his pants at times, and the team was as well. You look at St Mirren last minute goal, Hibs could have gone either way. Dundee last night, the last 15 minutes was panic stations. It's not like fast, free flowing, easy football. You go back a year, Celtic were winning 3 and 4-0 every week this time last year. It was no jeopardy. It was a complete and utter canter. No, things have changed.
Yeah,
it's not going to be that way, and people need to get their heads around this. This season's not going to be like that. They're going to be defeats here and there. They're going to be draws. I mean, Hearts have lost 1 game this season.
I know, 1 in 15,
and they're getting booed off. It's like I don't know what's going on in the world. How many seasons have lost their marbles collectively? So there's going to be, and these, like you say, these 2 rookie managers are going to make mistakes. I say rookie managers in terms of where they are. They're going to make mistakes, and there's going to be bumps. And I say Celtic squad is so weak just now. They're not going to get through this next 4 weeks unscathed. They're not. No. I mean, you see, Sirachi limped off last night as well. Another one, it looks like it could be a longer term injury as well, another hamstring problem. So Celtic are down to the bare bones. Martin Neil had to use the same 13, 14 players for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they look a wee bit knackered, to be honest. They look as though they're feeling the pace already. And the thing is, it's only just starting. The next 4 weeks are going to be relentless. Absolutely relentless at home and in Europe. So there's going to be points getting spilled.
The one thing you'd think in that one, Mick, is that Martin O'Neill was clearly reluctant to mix and match and try. He kind of settled on a formation and a selection which he thought would optimise his chances of getting as many points as possible during his short time in charge. I don't think he was looking for forward planning or too far ahead of what comes next. So it's now up to Wilfried Nancy to look at that group of players and assess, right, who needs dipped in, who needs dipped out.
Exactly. Martin Neil's thinking, I'm only here for 5, 6, it turned out 8 games. Just get through this period with little damage as possible and hand it over. But he's not thinking, I can't play tactics. I need him for Sunday. I need this, and I can't play. Dice made it last night. Takes a blutter on the head, big black eye. I mean, in normal time, you say, right, sit down. We need you for the next week. We've got Hearts on the cup final in Roma. but he's got to play to get through that game to get. So it's been more short term thinking. Now it becomes a long term again, and there is going to be ups and downs, especially January. And January is when Celtic and Nancy and Celtic need to hang on to January, and then they need to tool up and reinforce their squad. If they do that, they're going to be in a very strong position. And Nancy, it could all be sunshine and clear road all the way to May. But there's going to be some bumps. There's going to be some bumps because you're not going to go on January the 1st. There's 5 new players that are all going to be first team ready.
I was about to say, you might kill.
Especially the way Celtic work.
The first bump was today when Michael Nicholson was giving him a tour of Lennoxtown and said, Wilfried, have you met the recruitment department? There's your first bump.
Yeah, there's the whiteboard of the incomings here. Oh, it doesn't seem to be anything on it yet.
In the comments, guys, John points out the difference is that Celtic have a team of players with a habit of winning most of their games. We Other People says, well said, Mick. What if he beats Hearts? Wins the cup, what's the negative spin on that? P. McLaughlin says Celtic will be 10 points plus ahead of second by the time the derby finishes at New Year. Mark says, Martin O'Neill reminded us that contrary to the belief of our previous elite manager, there are some bloody good players in that building. And Paul points out the board have as much to prove as the new manager. Are they going to let him bring in the players that we need? So plenty of comments coming in. And if you want to get involved, please do so. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something there, Keith.
No, I'm just struggling for breath.
I thought it was a neat segue coming there, Daniel.
I was going to say we should probably move on to Rangers. There was plenty to talk about last night. I'll maybe start on this one, which is a bit left field, Keith. Our pal Gianni's been in touch. He says he was speaking to Massimo Donati on Sunday night. It seems me and him, Rangers, should have been all out to get Vanoli to take them to the next level. They'll be chasing him when he wins the Conference League. I feel like Gianni's maybe got a vested interest in Paolo Vanoli's career.
Shares in Paolo Vanoli.
But no, I mean, it brings us to a packed night at Tannadice. I mean, look, so many comments are coming in already about the penalty that we talked about it last night, or the 2 penalties, I should say. I mean, David Gillespie points out Scales handball, penalty, Fernandez, same thing, no penalty, what's the difference? Kev wants us to get Des Roach on to review the Rangers game. I hadn't seen it last night, the Rangers penalty in the last seconds. I don't think it was a penalty in a million years, but I know you guys both disagree with me. I'm in the losing team here, I think.
Well, you'll be in the winning team in terms of the numbers of the comments that come in, Dan, so well played on that. But yeah, look, I don't know if there's much more I can say about it. I said what I thought before Jim Goodwin joined us live in Hotline Live last night, and then he said that he didn't feel we had any complaints over the award of a penalty kick. Well, I can understand why it's frustrating, especially the timing of it, in basically the last kick of the ball. But there's contact there, and whether I knew that Max Aarons was there or not, Will Ferry, he makes the contact. I think his knee probably catches, as you can see there, Aarons, the contact point's just above his knee on his thigh. It was a penalty, guys, and you know I'd be more inclined to think I might have got that wrong if I didn't watch Jim Goodwin last night coming on our show and saying that he had no problem with it. Because let me tell you something, he's no wallflower. If Jim Goodwin thought he'd get done for one there, he would have come out with all guns blazing. So, nah, not for me.
You think it was a penalty as well, Mike, don't you?
I do. Listen, it was. I didn't say it was soft. I mean, listen. Will Ferry's he's dangled out a leg and he's second to the ball, and unfortunately for him, that's what happens. And I think sometimes you can tell he looked a wee bit guilty. I thought he looked. He knew that he was in trouble. It was a moment he was hoping rather than anything else. I just think because 98 minutes as well. It's and I think because of it was in the back of the United claim for a penalty kick as well with the Fernandez handball. It gets people kind of frothing, but I think it was. I mean, it's relatively soft, but I think if you're going to hang out a leg and not get the ball, and the player gets there first to win it, I think it's a penalty kick. So yeah, I think it was a penalty kick. I think Jim Goodwin, like you say, he knew that as well. I think he said the phrase, if it's another box at the other end, I'd be screaming for it. So he knows it's probably a penalty.
In fairness to the officials last night, Mike, what you wouldn't have seen was that Gassama at one point in the second half before that goes into the box, and it looks into a cluster of bodies. It's very unclear, and it goes down, and it looks right away. You're thinking, oh, I'd like to see that again. But David Dickinson, match ref, went straight into his pocket, got out the yellow card without hesitation, without going to VAR. He identified it. So yeah, I think, look, you take the rough with the smooth. I think we'll both say that Rangers were really fortunate not to give away a penalty, and that may have been an even bigger moment in the match had Fernandes got penalised for handball.
Are we all in agreement that the Fernandes handball was a penalty, or should have been?
Do you know what? We're in this handball minefield, aren't we, really? Does any of us actually know what handball actually is anymore, really? I thought at my first view of it, I thought, well, that looks like a penalty. Again, I'm a big fan of the guilty look test. If a defender looks as though his hand's been caught in a cookie jar, never mind on the ball, I think it usually means it's a penalty kick. And he had that kind of cookie jar look about him as well at the time, like, because he knows it's hit him in the arm in the box, and he's not really judged it that great. So I thought that could have been given. Again, you go back over the rules, you think, well, you can see why it's not given. So another contest one. The handball one is just one that's never gone away in terms of how contentious it is. I mean, it seems to be that everyone's is debated.
And by the way, it's so inconsistent the way that it's been handled by referees and adjudicated by the refs. That some referees would give that as a penalty kick without thinking twice.
But that's also why it can't really go to the whole VAR thing, because if it's going to be a case of, well, even a VAR decision is going to end up debating this, like the bit like the scales one, I thought as well, you can think, well, that's been flagged up as a kind of clear and obvious error that should be a penalty kick. You think, okay, fair enough, right? But this one, if he goes and then looks at it and thinks he's got to tell you made a mistake first of all. If he's not given that, VAR's going to say, well, we think that's wrong. Come and have a look and go and see it. And then they go, well, you know what? I don't really. You can argue either way. If it's going to argue either way, there's no point in it doing that, because if there's going to be a debate after the VAR, there's no point in VAR getting involved unless it's a clear and obvious error by the officials.
I disagree, Mick. I think that why are we paying for VAR? Why are we paying for the technology? It's not so that guys in Clydesdale House can think that they're the big guys, they're the decision makers, and they have the ultimate call. No, you don't, mate. Your job is to study the tapes, and if you think the referee, the match official, would be better off having a second look at something, advise them to go and take a second look. That's not paying for the technology.
That's not in the rules for that. The rule is that if the referee made a clear and obvious error, so if they're going that, well, we think it might be a penalty if you look at it. That's probably the bar now for that. But if it's going to be debated for the next 3 weeks, no matter what, it's not a clear and obvious error. You cannot. It's like,
but then we're just not using the technology right. I want my match official, the guy that's in the centre of the pitch, to be making the big calls. And if he's advised to take a second look, he should be given that chance. He doesn't need to accept what VAR is saying.
No, I take that point, but we're arguing 24 hours later about it still. So it's taking 24 hours and still can't clear it up.
Yeah.
So,
what
happened last night? What was last night? He goes over to the VAR and goes like, you know what? Maybe a penalty kick. Do you think we would still debate it tonight? The same thing? Of course you would. We got that. Well, VAR called him over. Why did they call him over? It wasn't a penalty kick. So it's not really clearing it up. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is where I disagree. Who's going to complain about that penalty kick being given? Nobody.
Nobody's
going to complain about it.
Rangers will be writing letters.
Come on, Mick. With that, there's no basis for it. So I think they've made a botch up of that. And I don't think, we've got Willie Collins that's head of the referees. And I like wee Willie. And I liked going over at the start of the season and listening to him talk about changes that are going to be implemented. But this is a shambles. And we're making no improvement. And we're saying we're crying out for consistency with the handball rule. And look at it, it's on one guy's whim from week to week. Now, the argument that I would make in terms of what was the difference between Fernandes and Liam Scales is that Liam Scales, at the point of contact, his arm's out here, it's moving towards the ball, and he catches it there. The only thing that you would say in Fernandes' favour last night is he's bringing his arm into his side when it hits his hand. So he's trying to bring his hand away from it as opposed to go towards it. Is that enough? I don't know. Does that constitute a big enough a difference that one of them's a penalty and one of them's not? I don't know.
We can actually
Game's on.
we can actually hear, guys, I think, from the Rangers manager. We've got a few minutes of his press conference from last night after the game. Let's hear what he had to say.
My job is now to find the right balance with this emotional game. The one thing is we can speak about mentality. Today I saw a team who fight until the end to get something. I think on the weekend we spoke about create not too much chances. Today we had chances for maybe 4 games. But, and this is the other part, on the weekend we had a clean sheet, and today we didn't have. Yeah, and I think if we can bring these 2 performances together, a clean sheet and the style how we play today, then we will get a lot of points in the future. Yeah, of course we are disappointed, and I understand the fans. I can take this, but today the how and this just in 3 days, with nearly out of training session, with a video meeting, how we make the step from Freikirk to today was for me massive. And yeah, this is my review from the game.
What did you make of the reaction at the end of the game from the supporters?
I understand them. Look, they come on Wednesday evening here, 6,000 people. Our demanding is to win such a games. I take this, for me it's important that I find the right balance and I be a good mirror for my group. If we win games, I'm not too positive. If we lose games, I'm not too negative. If I see something goes not in the right direction, I'm very clear. And we were clear this during the week that the last game was too slow, not attacking enough. But I saw today a team who are really able to do this, what we want. But then it's about be ruthless in both boxes. And I think this is, for me, a key part. If we do this, then I see steps forward.
What is wrong with Chermiti? Because he has a big price tag, but he's missing really big chances for you.
Yeah, I think then we can also look to the other chances. I think everyone should take responsibility on the pitch in both boxes. If you defend well and you score 2 times, it should be enough to win an away game. I think this is crucial. I will not speak in public about individual performances. For me, what I do always with my group, but it's too easy to put just this to one person. I think there are a lot of players, always 11 players on the pitch. They can help the team to win.
Danny, you said before the game yesterday that you were looking for players that understand what it means to play for Rangers. Do you think you've got enough players in the dressing room who grasp the real meaning of what it means to play for this club?
Yeah, first I must say today I saw a lot of players, they stepped up and they asked for the ball more than maybe in the past. We played quicker, but this is at the moment this individual mistakes, and this is what you have to stop. Yeah, if you stop this in both boxes, then you will win more games. For me, yeah, and I understand that not everybody will agree, but the performance today in the offensive was one of the best since I'm here. We create so many chances, but it's also the part defense, and in the defense today we are not strong enough in every time.
How confident are you that you can get the best out of this squad from what you've seen so far?
We work. This is hard work. When I come here and when I arrived, it was clear for me it goes not overnight and I'm like this, because it's the job of the manager. Make step by steps, help them, give them solution. I think in the last 2 days we give them solutions to be better in this direction, but then we should not forget also what it means in the defense. And if you bring both together, then I see a team who can step up, step by step. It's a long journey. We have now, I think, still 24 games to go, if I'm right, or 23, hopefully. And yeah, it's a long way. And for this we have to work every day hard.
Is it your intention to address the defence in the January transfer window? Is that what you feel the greater need is?
We have to improve the players we have here, and then we have to look what we can bring on the market. As I said as many times, it's not about how much players, it's about which players, and if we find the right one to bring something different in the group and in both directions, then I think we are in a good way, and this is what we have to prepare with the club. I have good people around me that will help me.
Danny Roll there in the comments, guys. Might not surprise you to learn that Chermiti is getting a bit of a beating. Gianni says Chermiti's miss was unreal. Derek says, why we never signed Shanklin if he's a travesty, only top scorer in Scotland. He also says, I've got osteoarthritis in my knees, and even I could have scored one of those threes missed last night. And finally, John says, penalty or no penalty. The fact of the matter is that Rangers have dropped 4 points in the last 2 games, hopeless form, and yet another rebuild is required. I've actually got to the point now. You mentioned, you coined the phrase earlier, Keith, about in the wrong movie. I actually kind of feel sorry for Chermiti now, because it's just not happening for him at all.
I wouldn't feel too sorry for him. Apparently, he's in a cracking wage packet.
He probably will be, aye.
Sorted by Kevin Thelwell. No, that's inexcusable. That miss last night was inexcusable. Inexcusable for a striker that cost you £1 million. Never mind 8 going up to 10. Is 4 yards out for an open goal. All he's got to do is make contact. But I keep saying about Chermiti, the impression he gives me is, I nearly got there. I nearly did that. He's the nearly man. And you don't pay £8 million for a nearly man. I think it's a catastrophic error of judgment. And there have been games where he puts himself about physically for a bit, but then sort of fades away. There is nothing about this guy. On no basis could I have been convinced that this was the player, especially when you're letting Dessers, Czerny and Egerman, you're letting them out the door. And you've probably spent more on Chermiti than they did get for Egerman. That's the bottom line here. They've lost money and brought in a player that is... And have you seen some of the moments and the goals that Egerman's having in the French league? He's tearing the place up.
He's flying.
He's going to be in the English Premier League, and he's going to go for a far bigger fee than Rangers get in from. They better hope they negotiated a decent selling. But I mean, when we talk about a summer of downgrades, that's exactly he's the poster boy for it. Chermiti. He's well, I hate to say it, but he's hopeless. And you know, I saw some of the comments there, and it's interesting because I don't disagree with some of them about Danny Rawl. He doesn't strike me as a very charismatic or inspirational leader. When you hear him talk, it's hard work sometimes, and you wonder. Now that's look, I'm not going to say Martin O'Neill was the king of the press room, wasn't he? And it was really engaging. It's brilliant to listen to. Danny Rawl's hard work to listen to. I wonder what he's like in the dressing room. I wonder how inspirational he is in the dressing room. That would concern me, because there are guys in there that clearly need a rocket right up their backsides. And I don't know, maybe I'm being really unfair, but he doesn't really appear to me to be the type of guy that might be able to deliver that. Now, I do agree, and I said that last night, Daniel, that was a much improved Rangers performance when compared to, you know, the effort they turned in against Falkirk at the weekend. But in order for them to get on the front foot as they did last night, they had to leave themselves more exposed at the back. So it was also a tactical switch. He took his chances. We need to get more bodies forward. We need to get more runners at a midfield, empty the midfield, get beyond the Dundee United's defence. And it left big holes. And they were being picked apart. And they were, as much as they were unlucky not to score maybe 4 or 5 goals themselves last night, they were also lucky not to concede 4 or 5. So the balance is all wrong. And I just think that Danny Rawl's going through a really difficult period. And this is what I'm saying to you. And I wrote it in a column last week. You get the most experienced, worldly wise manager in world football right now, and deal him the hand that Danny Rawl's been dealt with, and he'll struggle with it. He'll struggle to make that work. You've got a guy in there that's 36 that has had 1 full season at Sheffield Wednesday. Again, it just strikes me as an incredible decision, incredible high risk decision. And when you listen to him, I don't know what you think, Mick. When I'm listening to these press conferences, I automatically try and think, how does he get his message across in the dressing room? I think it's a worry.
It doesn't come across as the most kind of rabble-rousing of characters, does he? I think he's more methodical. But you got to listen, the guy's been handed the equivalent of a managerial hospital pass.
Yeah.
In
order to make that work, look at Martin O'Neill, mate. Martin O'Neill get handed the exact same thing. Look what he did.
Yeah, I think he's trying to work out a way of, mean, the weekend, this week summed it up, really. I mean, they're defensively resolute at the weekend. We can't create a chance. They go a bit more kind of expansive and offensive. They created 32 attempts in goal last night, 10 on target. But then they're wide open at the back and could have lost more than 2 goals as well. So he's got that kind of the old line of it. He's got a quilt that's not quite big enough. He pulls it up to keep his head warm, and his feet get. So he can't get the full coverage right now. So he's another one. He's just limping on to January, trying to survive without too much damage until January. But it's just he is dealing with a loaded deck right now. I mean, the guys up front. I mean, I know Chermiti's copping a ton of flack, but Majovski's another one not doing the business. Danilo, now how long? I know he's had injury problems, but I mean, a lot of money he cost. Was it what, £6 million? Danilo.
I think he's on a fair wage as well.
Fair wage, and not doing. I mean, his old man's busier off the pitch dancing about and all that stuff. I mean, not enough. Just
what does it tell you that these two are getting regular starts in front of Chermiti? Then
yeah, exactly. But they're still not doing the business. And they need to start earning their bucks. But a bit like across the city, I think Rowe has to hang on as best they can to January and hope that the owners are feeling a bit generous to try and repair some of the damage done from the summer. Otherwise, it's going to be a heck of a long season. I mean, it's been a heck of a long season for them already. But it's going to be a hell of a long slog if we don't get that fixed in January.
In the comments, your little Muppet says, I remember saying to Keith, I was taking Luis Figo's word over Keith's about Chermiti. How wrong was I? I think Luis Figo backed him when he first came to Rangers, but there you go.
Play, your loyal Muppet.
That's it. We're running out of time, guys, but before we finish, it's the World Cup draw tomorrow. Scotland's first World Cup draw in almost 3 decades. And you can see the pots on your screen there. I'm absolutely buzzing for this. You can see us there nicely nestled in pot 3. But is there any particular countries you would like to see drawn against us tomorrow?
Mick?
Well, the first thing first, see this draw. I'm looking forward to seeing the actual draw and see what Americans do. Apparently, the village people are going to be playing at the draw tomorrow.
Well, that's good. He's got them lined up for a personal appearance.
Seriously? They must be about 80 years old, the village people. I mean, is it the retirement village people? Old man, there's no need to lie down. I mean, unbelievable.
Well, are you serious, Mick? Why are the village people there?
Because it's his favourite band, favourite group. So it's
going to be great. It's going to be great.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. I mean, you think it's not going to be Taylor Swift or Jay-Z? It's the village people giving it like. So we're going to get through that first of all, then we get the draw. I think in terms of draw, I think we want to get one of the weaker European teams in pot 1 or 2 because I don't want to get Italy out of pot 4. So I think if we can get an Austria from pot 2, well, a bit of that. They want a bit of glamour from pot 1. They wouldn't mind Argentina, I must admit. And then we'll take one of the kind of your Cape Verdes or your Haiti or New Zealand from pot 4. Don't want Italy put out pot 4. That'd be a disaster. So I think that means to avoid that, we probably need to get one of the European teams from one of the top 2 pots. So do you take Belgium from pot 1 maybe? Or Switzerland pot 2, Switzerland or Austria for pot 2. Take one of the big guys. Something like that. So I'm trying to work out a strategy.
Mick, are you okay, mate?
What?
Are you seriously okay?
I'm telling this is the way to look at it. I've done my research here, Keith.
Wow.
Next research, Keith, come on.
So there's a methodology here. I've got it all worked out. I've got my grid and my pad and my choices, you name it. But yeah, so I think that's the strategy, isn't it? I think try and avoid Italy from pot 4. I want one of the kind of Cape Verdes or
Curacao.
Well, I think they're quite good. They're like a kind of Dutch kind of B team, aren't they?
Aye.
So I don't really want. Dick Advocaat's the manager, isn't he?
You could fit their population into Celtic Park, Ibrox, and Hampden, and still have seats left.
Aye, but the whole squad. I think there's one guy that wasn't born. The rest of them are all born in Holland, so they're all kind of second generation in Dutch. So apparently they're pretty handy. Like a Dutch B team, really. So maybe one to avoid because I mean, it looked bad on paper getting beat to that into a team. The team don't know how to pronounce.
I wouldn't mind one of the hosts in pot 1, maybe Canada, Mexico, America. But
I wouldn't want Mexico, Dan. You're off your head if you want Mexico.
Look, whoever we're going to get, it's going to be hard. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
well, yeah, but in my view, we go for. I want just out of sheer romance and a bit of stardust. Wouldn't it be brilliant to get Lionel Messi in Argentina, the World Cup winners, the holders. Messi's last World Cup. Scotland very rarely, we've got Brazil loads of times at World Cups. We don't usually bump into Argentina. So let's get Messi and let's just hope, if we catch them early, because that's what happened in the last World Cup, if you get them in the opening game, you might catch them cold. These teams, the bigger teams, like to ease themselves into these tournaments. They're not worried about the opening game because they know they're going to qualify anyway. Yeah. So I'm going to take Messi in Argentina for pot 1. I'm going to take, pull them out again.
Hold on.
I want Australia from pot 2. I'll take Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then obviously us, and then I'll go for a Cape Verde or a Caracciao.
I've got to say in the comments, I'm liking these. Let me find this one. Will says Canada, Iran, or Haiti. That'd be pretty good. And Mark as well. Mark said it a minute ago. If I can find his comment, he says Canada, Iran, and Jordan. I mean, you couldn't really complain with that. I mean, I know you want a bit of stardust and all that, but I just want us to go and get through.
Do you know the worst thing? Can you imagine that we get Canada, Iran, and Jordan and don't make it?
That's a good point.
I mean, that's the worst case scenario, isn't it?
That's a very good point.
I don't really want England either. We could do without getting England. I mean, for a lot of reasons, I don't want England. No thanks. I agree. I like Argentina would be great. Opening game against Argentina and Messi. That'd be fantastic.
In the comments as well, James is one of a few people asking us what time the draw starts. It's 5 p.m. tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of an awkward time, but there you go.
Yeah. Apparently, there's going to muck about though. Apparently, it's going to be not too drawn out. Well,
just the village people then the draw.
Well, they're asking. They're aging to get back to the home after it, so they'll do a couple of. They've only got 2 songs. Was it YMCA and Macho Man and Up the Road?
The sniper, I think, Sniper 56 sums things up perfectly in the comments. Says the main thing is, lads, we're there. Give me the Yanks, Brazil, and Germany. That would be some ask.
Here, boys. Just before we go, there was somebody asking for resident ref Des Roach's view on the decisions at Tannadice. Both penalty incidents given and denied at Tannadice were fine by me. Fernandez had an arm on the way down and didn't impede it. Ferry just caught unawares and made contact with the Rangers player attacking the ball. Neither worthy of mass hysteria. So there you go. You've all been told. Pipe
Interesting.
down.
Thanks for getting in touch with us.
Mass hysteria is what we do best. Calm down, Des.
That's our expertise.
You can stick to the common sense. We'll stick to mass hysteria.
Before we finish, guys, and I know I will say that and then bring something else up, we can very quickly look at the weekend fixtures. We obviously know a huge one on Sunday, Celtic against Hearts. I can't wait for that. St Mirren Dundee United is an intriguing one too, after they ended their kind of 7-match losing streak. And of course, Rangers away at Kilmarnock in that evening game on Saturday. It looks like it's going to be a very good weekend as usual.
Yeah, some really big games. Obviously, none bigger than the Sunday game between Celtic and Hearts. That's what it's all about. Hearts have done the setting the pace since the start of the season. They've just been, caught up with going into this big game. And I don't know about you, Mike, but I've just got this feeling it might not be this might be the perfect match for Hearts in many ways, because I think they've been too worried about everything else that's going on, about looking down on everybody else on the top. And I think they've kind of gotten away from what they need to concentrate on. It's just going and playing football, win the football games. And I actually think in a perverse way, the fact that it's Celtic at Parkhead might be a good thing for them in terms of they can just get rid of all the other baggage, just go out there and play their game. I think that will be, obviously, that's going to be, and it could be so consequential for where the season goes from here. Hearts win, wow, that's a statement victory, and they're throwing down the gauntlet. Celtic win, and I think a great many people, myself included, will start to reach the conclusion that this is more of the same. Celtic will go on from here and just, strengthen and increase their lead at the top of the table and coast towards another title. So I think there's that. I honestly think that's how much is on this game, and that's why it's so intriguing.
Motherwell at home to Livy as well. I mean, Motherwell you could see above Rangers. It's mad.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it suits. This weekend's a good time for Hearts. Actually, I mean, I don't think they've been playing particularly badly. I mean, they were unlucky last night, last late goals and all that stuff. Thought they were going to see it out. But Derek McInnes can go and play a cute game against Celtic. It don't have to be too adventurous. We can try and frustrate, capitalise on those nerves I was talking about at Celtic Park right now. New manager, try to put his own imprint on it. Celtic, as I said, they look pretty weary right now in terms of injuries and players. I think they're I'm not saying they're there for the taking, but they're certainly vulnerable right now. So yeah, I think it's a good one for Hearts. If, as you say, Celtic come out on top, but yeah, the 3 points by game in hand is a major step forward and a lifting, a launch pad for Wilfried Nancy.
Yeah.
As I say, I don't think Celtic are going to be as poor as they've been in this first part of the season. And that's a wee bit ominous for the rest. If they get ahead, if they get their noses ahead at this point in time, in spite of it all, it's a wee bit ominous. It is a wee bit ominous because I think the ball gets stronger after the new year. But like I say, I think there's points to be spilled between then and now. So it's but this is going to be a cracker. It's a good old top of the table tussle. We'll see where Hearts really are right now as well, and we'll see what the new Celtic manager brings. It's going to be interesting. New formations, new tactics. Does he rip it all up? Does he stick with what's happened in the last few weeks? It's going to be really interesting, I think.
Aye, absolutely. And no matter what happens, guys, we'll be here to pour over it all on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. when we're next back. But for now, I think that brings us to the end of Thursday Night's Hotline Live. Thank you for all the comments. They've been fantastic as usual. Mick, Keith, thank you very much for joining me. It's always wonderful to share this Hotline Live with you both. And
I'm very
have
very
a
pleased.
good weekend.
Very pleased. I'm going to go and hit the couch and get under my wee furry rug.
I can't get if it likes people doing songs in my head now. That's my I'll be humming it all night.
If you're in the same boat and you're singing the Village People all night, apologies for that. But as I say, we'll be back on Sunday at 6 p.m.
You see Meg with a big Indian headdress on.
That's my usual Sunday.
We're back on Sunday at 6. Hope you can join us then. Thanks for watching. Cheers.